This was the scene last night in Lafayette, Louisiana. A shooting at a motion picture theater. The shooter, John Russell Hauser, described as a drifter. And it raises so many questions. Let's bring in our panel to talk about that and some other important topics. From Newsmax, New York, we welcome in Ellis Henican, noted radio and television commentator, and also in that location, the Director of Political Communications for First Rule and the former Speaker of the Missouri House of Representatives, Tim Jones. Ellis, as you remind us, you are a native of Louisiana. There were obviously deaths involved in what happened last night. Your take on what happened in Lafayette, Louisiana?
No, it's horrific. I mean, it's senseless, decent people just going out to a night at the movies and the worst possible thing happening. I would love it if our nation would finally get around to dealing with the twin causes of issues like this, which are guns and mental illness. And we don't seem to really want to be dealing with either one of them.
Well, the whole notion, and you've defined it really for us, Ellis. Tim, guns, we have a Second Amendment. We also have mental illness, and sadly, it seems like a lot of folks with mental problems, we've moved away from institutionalizing people with those problems, in the last 3 decades or so? How should we be addressing something like what happened last night in Lafayette?
Well, Congressman, great to be on with you again. And I would agree with Ellis on his second point, and that is the issue of mental illness. You know, in Missouri, we had to confront this head on when I was Speaker there, and we made some major strides forward in addressing this issue. That's really the root cause. You know, the problem with these types of incidents is they are horrific, but let's remember they occur because these incidences are soft targets. People who want to cause terror, they go to these places because they know people are generally unarmed.
And it seems, Ellis, at least there could be a copycat motive because this occurred when the sentencing was going on for the shootings at the theater in Aurora, Colorado.
Yeah, it could be. Crazy people get sparked by crazy stuff. I wish I could get Tim to join me on the first part of my duo there. What's bad isn't the fact that people are mentally ill, but that guns end up in the hands of mentally ill people because of our laws and their enforcement. Can't we twin those two together? That's the real problem.
So is there a form of screening, Tim? What did you guys end up doing in Missouri?
Well, we took on the mental illness issue, Congressman, and what we did was we had a institutional problem with some of our institutions that were falling into disrepair, and we weren't putting enough funding into the mental illness problem. You know, the problem with what Ellis's argument is making is when you look around the country, you know, I can go over these stats time and time again. The places that have the most gun restrictions have the most gun crime. The places that have the most Second Amendment freedoms have the least gun crimes. Guns aren't the problem. It's addressing the root cause, that's mental illness, putting the funding where it needs to be and having the services available for those people, not taking more guns away from law-abiding citizens.
Ellis, 15 seconds to have the last word on this particular issue.
Well, I certainly welcome Tim to New York, where we have the toughest gun laws in America and the lowest violent crime. My home state of Louisiana, sadly, has very lax gun laws and tons of gun crime. I'll throw some different stats at you next time, Tim.
All right, gentlemen, let's move to presidential politics. Yesterday, Donald Trump at the border. Now, you take a look at that, and Trump got some pointed questions, but he fought back against some of them. Tim, I'm wondering, has Donald Trump brought a new style of campaigning for president, getting away from the spin and actually countering the gotcha from the dominant media culture?
You know, J.D., that's hitting the nail on the head right there. You know, John McCain said he had the Straight Talk Express back in 2008. I wasn't really sure if he ever hit that point head on. Donald Trump is giving Americans the straight talk. That's why he's rising in the polls every day. When the media thinks they have him on the ropes and want to accuse him of this, that, and the other thing, what happens? The next day the polls come out, he goes up another 5 to 10 points. I think folks like the Trump style. JD, I lived here in New York between 1989 and 1998. I saw the Trump rise to power. He's been successful in business. He's been successful in entertainment. Now he's taking on the big kahuna to see if he can be successful in politics. He's doing a fine job.
Let me ask you, Ellis, because you've watched Trump for a long time, and this whole notion of will he stay with the Republicans or might he leave a la Ross Perot? What is your take on that? Do you think Trump will remain a Republican?
No, I think so. He's doing pretty well as a Republican. I mean, I hope he stays in the race all the way till November, somehow or another, whether it's as a Republican or as an independent. Listen, it helps all my Democratic friends every single day Donald Trump is in that race and does as well as he's doing. So I say, you go, Donald.
Well, it's very interesting. A lot of folks were saying that in 1980 on the Democratic side about Ronald Reagan, and you saw how that turned out. At any rate, Tim Jones and Ellis Henican, our thanks to you both. Speaking of Donald Trump, he has written a book showcasing his ideas on just how to make America great again. Trump's bestseller is entitled Time to Get Tough. It outlines his plans to roll back Obama's policies, secure the border, deal with China, terrorism, and much more. Newsmax has an offer for you to get that book for free. Just go to newsmax.com/Trump book and get your copy today.